Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Fire Red with only one Kecleon was a hard solo run. Let's follow that up with a team run. Today's the day that we figure out, would I be able to beat Pokemon Emerald with a team of only rock types? I'm actually really excited for this one, even though it's probably going to be pretty hard. Emerald is loaded with all kinds of different rock-type Pokemon. Not counting multiple Pokemon in the same evolution line and not counting legendaries, there's 10 different Pokemon that we could get, and nearly all of them have a different secondary type. That gives us a lot of variety to work with, so I'm pretty excited. Like always, I'm writing the script as I go through the challenge, so this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I figure this is going to be a really hard one, considering how many major fights are with trainers who are good against rock types, like the water-type Pokemon champion and the steel-type post-game fight. But I also think it's going to be a really fun one. I think I can beat Wallace. Steven, I'm not totally sure, but by level 100, I think that we could. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use rock types. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So right off the bat, I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Torchic with Nosepass so that we can do the whole run with it. I decided to start with Nosepass for two reasons. One is that it just feels really Gen 3 to me, and two is that I love the idea of starting with a solo rock type and then slowly building our team's roster of different type combos. Plus, it's a pretty early game Pokemon that we would be catching right after the Rock Gym anyway. Alright, so first is the Rock Gym, and I know that we're going to have to gain a lot of levels before we can win there. Roxanne's team is infamously difficult. 2 Geodudes and a Nosepass, plus she has a berry and 2 potions to heal with. This'll be far from easy. Nosepass is a super high defense Pokemon that doesn't have a ton of health or attack, so we aren't gonna hit that hard. Rock doesn't resist Rock, so we can at least use Rock Throw on her team, but she can still Rock Tomb us, so I expect to lose the speed advantage fast. Plus, Rock may not resist Rock, but Ground still does, so we won't be doing great damage against her Geodudes. I think I'm going to have to get to level 22 to learn Thunder Wave before we can win. We can't hit it on the Geodudes, but at least it'll work on her Nosepass. And yes, Nosepass can learn Thunder Wave. Weird, right? Even weirder, it learns Zap Cannon later. We can teach it lots of electric moves, even though it's not very good with them. Then again, its attack and special attack are both equally bad, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. Oh, then we have the fighting gym after the rock one. That'll be even worse. This is going to be a really slow early game. In fairness, that's pretty typical in Emerald. So after fighting every single trainer plus some wild Pokemon, we get to the gym leader at level 18, but we don't even take down our first Geodude. We even ran out of power points on Rock Throw, so you know this is going to be a bad one. This went so badly that I could honestly see us having to level up all the way to level 28 to get Rock Slide before we could win. I wish I could just rare candy up, but I'm gonna need to fight a few hundred more Pokemon before I can max out my effort values, so it'll probably make more sense to just grind the old-fashioned way for a while. I'll try some more before level 28, maybe around something like 24 I could win, but I really don't expect it. So I tried some more at level 24, but it still just wasn't happening. I have to get kinda lucky to get past the first Geodude with much health left, but even when I would, I didn't get very far into the second one. The worst part is that I bet if I could get to her Nosepass, I could win. It won't resist our rock moves, and we can Thunder Wave it to get the speed advantage back. I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and get to level 28 to get Rock Slide. I think I'll need it for sure. This is taking forever, by the way. The wild Pokemon here are such low levels. Okay, as soon as we get to level 28 and learn Rock Slide, we ended up winning really easily as we flinch and two-shot both Geodudes, then totally wreck her Nosepass in 2 hits as she just used Block. Well, I kind of regret getting rid of Harden now, since I held on to both Rock Throw and Rock Slide for more power points, but whatever, I guess it doesn't really matter that much. I can always get Harden back later if I really want to, and I probably don't want it back that badly. Let's go get a new Pokemon. It's time to catch our first Pokemon, Aaron. It's a Steel and Rock type Pokemon that's very fun to use. Incredibly tanky, as you can imagine, and a really fun type combo. Good moves, too. The only problem is that we have the fighting gym coming up, and it's double weak to fighting, so I really don't expect it to do much in there. I'm gonna go get the experience share right away, slap it on, and have it start catching up with Nosepass. Wish me luck. Alright, so we got to the fighting gym. First is Machop, and we lucked out by making him flinch so we could easily two-shot him. Second is Meditite, who flinched on the first round, then used Focus Punch on the second so we made it faint before it could unleash the move. Last is the only real threat, though, Makihita. I would love to just mud-slap it with Aaron, but it's got Vital Throw, and that can't miss, so I just paralyze him first. He spams Bulk Up though, so although he doesn't do too crazy of damage to us, we aren't doing much to him either, and he only is getting stronger with time. Between his Citrus Berry and Super Potion, we actually couldn't take him down. If we got one crit, then we'd for sure have won, and we do hit him quite a few times, so we're bound to crit eventually. Plus, on this round our paralysis hardly did anything to him. I think if I just try this a handful of times, then we could totally win. Literally 3 tries later and we just crit him right away to nearly one-shot him. He used his berry to heal, but I figured he'd just use his super potion anyway. For some reason though, he didn't, so we took him out really fast. Well, that went 1,000 times better than it should've. Seriously, if he just used his super potion like usual, we easily still could have lost. Like, I thought this was gonna take 20 tries, not less than 5. That means I'm on the beach going for some last-minute levels on Aaron before the next major fight, our rival. I figure it won't be too horrible, but you never know. She's got some water and grass moves, so it might not go great. Really, I'm more worried about the electric gym. We don't have any good ground types to resist them, so we're gonna have to just end up getting paralyzed. We can paralyze them too, but still, it could be hard. I figure that we're only gonna get past them thanks to Nosepass being super tanky. We'll have to wait and see, though. Let's fight our rival, then we can go fight tons of trainers for levels and go after the electric gym. Oh yeah, real random question, but you know Chef Boyardee? Like the canned food? You ever eat it cold? Like straight out of the can? Let me know in the comments. This is a very important question for the sake of science. And trust me, it will make sense one day. At the rival, we start off by just one-shotting Lombre with Rock Slide, but second is Marsh Stomp, who mud stomps us to get the speed advantage, then switches over to Water Gun twice to bring us to only 22 health by the time that we take him out. Last is Slugma, but it's obviously just a one-shot with Rock Slide. So after fighting every trainer in the area, I got to the electric gym. Voltorb was just a one-shot with Rock Slide, but I used Sandstorm first just in case. Second is Electrike, but it was also just a one-shot. Next is Magneton though, and I guess Sandstorm isn't all that useful since it can't hurt him. He's using Sonic Boom over and over, so I ended up paralyzing him and using Rock Slide when I can, although it doesn't do much. He finishes us off, and I send in Aaron to spam Mud Slap. He paralyzes us early and heals with a super potion, but we do eventually take him out with half of our health left. It doesn't matter though, as he just finishes us off with one hit from Magnetric. Well, I have Cherry Berries. What if I try holding one with Aaron to try and have an easier time with Magneton? I bet if I could get to Magnetric with Nosepass still alive, then we could stand a chance. So I tried the fight a few more times, but this attempt had me baffled. I started hitting Magneton with Mud Slaps, so I thought he'd switched using Shockwave, so that, you know, he couldn't miss, but instead he kept using Sonic Boom. He never missed one, but as soon as his health hit the point where he should have used a super potion, he just didn't, and then we took him out easily. Thanks to that, we still had Nosepass for Magnetric at the end. Now it was spamming super potions, so I ended up having to paralyze it and start a Sandstorm for safety, but that's alright, we still won pretty easily. Yeah, we took decent damage, but we had an Oran Berry, so we healed a little bit. Man, he could have played that Magneton fight so much better. Hey, not only is it time for one new Pokemon, but it's time for two. First is Slugma. Now I know Slugma is only a solo fire type, but it evolves into a fire and rock type, so I'm just gonna not use it in battle until it evolves. I'll slap an experience share on it. It won't take all that long before it evolves anyway. It'll be really good once it evolves though. I actually did a Megcargo only run in Emerald once, and obviously it being double weak to water and ground is a big problem, but outside of that it's a solid Pokemon. After that, I catch a Solrock. I really wish this game had Lunatone because that's more special focused of the two Pokemon, and Solrock doesn't really have that good of rock moves to learn, but we can still make it work. It's a Psychic type, so it's nice to have the variety, and it can learn Sunny Day, so maybe I could combo that with Magcargo to do something cool later in the run. You never know. Oh wait, nope, never mind. I looked it up. It can't learn Sunny Day. He just looks like he can. Because, you know, he's a sun. Now we have both the Maxi fight and the Fire Gym coming up. I'm hoping our rock slides will give us an easy time with both, but I don't want to get too overconfident. Maxie will have magnitude, and that could definitely be a problem. So Maxie starts with Mightyena, so we just take the Intimidate, paralyze him, then switch to Aaron to spam Headbutt. We crit right away, so it started great, although a sand attack made us miss the second one. He ended up holding on for a little while, thanks to a super potion, but we took him out reasonably fast. Camerupt is next, so I sent Nosepass back in to use Rock Slide. We hit hard, he used Focus Energy, we hit him again, and he flinched. But then he healed with a super potion, so he took an extra hit to take out. We didn't get hurt though. Last is Zubat, but obviously is just a one-shot. Not bad. After that is the Fire Gym. It starts with Numel, so we just Rock Slide it down fast, but we lose a bit of health to Magnitude in the process. Slugma is second, so we just one-shot it. And third is Camerupt, who makes it sunny as we keep Rock Sliding. For some reason, though, it was just using Tackle and wasting Hyper Potions, so it's not like we were taking any serious damage. We burned through a lot of power points, but we took it out as soon as it used its 2 Hyper Potions. I guess I'm happy that she used them early on a useless Pokemon. As Torkoal came out, we hit Rock Slide right away, ran out of power points, and just started a Sandstorm. She replaced it with Harsh Sun, so we just replaced it with another Sandstorm, and she was using really weak Body Slams. I then paralyzed her as she made it sunny again, so we made it to Sandstorm again. I was hoping she would use Overheat while there's a Sandstorm, so it would be a little bit weaker than if it was sunny, and we could get her to drop her special attack early. Tackle did basically nothing, so I just kept making it a Sandstorm every time she made it sunny, and eventually it worked, getting her to waste one. She used Overheat, got her stats back up with a White Herb, then used it again to make us faint. Then I felt safe to send in Aaron and Mud Slapper. She can't lose accuracy because of her ability, but we took her out pretty fast with the headbutts after. I guess we gotta go straight to the normal gym now. But on our way, I took the Root Fossil. I knew that if I didn't say what I took, you'd all ask. Actually, now that I think about it, everyone asks anyway. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Actually, you probably wouldn't ask because you'd find out the answer pretty much right away anyway, as I ride over to Rustboro to revive it into a Lileep right away. I love this Pokemon. It's pretty solid. This will be our Grass type this run. Super important considering the Pokemon Champion is a Water Trainer. Our team is really coming together. We're only getting one more, but it won't be for a while. Next is the normal gym, and this is a long one. First is Spinda, who's just a simple 2-shot with Rock Slide, but next is Slacking, and this took forever. Right away we started a Sandstorm and paralyzed him, but quickly I realized that we weren't doing much damage. Sometimes we'd get hit by counter too, so that isn't good. Eventually I switched to Aaron and used Mud Slap and Metal Claw just so I could save on power points on Rock Slide, because I knew that I was in danger of running out. He's got Hyper Potions though, so this was taking forever. After hitting him roughly 1 million times, Aaron went down to a counter and I had to send Nosepass back in to very slowly finish it off. After that was Vigoroth though, and it didn't take much damage. Thanks to him using a Hyper Potion, we had to start a Sandstorm and switch just so I could keep using any power points that aren't Rock Slide. Lileep and Solrock did a pretty bad job since they're both underleveled, but after Lileep went down, Solrock did finish it. Last is Lanoon, and I thought I would use Belly Drum right away, but it didn't. So we ended up not doing enough damage with our Rock Slides to take it out. I paralyzed it early, but it was whittling us down fast. I tried using a Sandstorm and switching to Solrock to buy time, but it just wasn't enough. We were one hit away from winning when we finally fainted. That took forever and we got so close to winning, but in the end we faint. Slugma still hasn't evolved, so we can't use it yet. Man, that's brutal. I'm gonna have to learn Secret Power to replace Tackle with a better move. Get a few levels on the lower leveled Pokemon, and then try again. So I came back stronger and the fight went pretty much the same, although it only took about 3.5 minutes this time. Replacing Tackle didn't do much, but I was just even more careful about counter this time, and we had better luck with Lanoon. It ended up not using Hyper Potions, so we took it out really fast with a little bit of health left, so that made all the difference. Alright, so we're on the road again, and I figure that the next part won't be so bad. Our rival, who is usually easy, then is the Flying Gym. Now, our rival could be a problem this time, because it's often pouring rain on the route that we fight her, so that'll power up her water moves, but who knows, it could still be simple. The Flying Gym after, I'm a little bit iffy about. Yeah, we're good against flying types, but she also has a water type, a grass type, and a steel type. Plus, if I remember right, her Altaria has Earthquake, so she has a lot of things that counter rock types. I figure the outcome of the fight will be based on how easily Nosepass is able to hang on and hit rock slides, but I guess we'll find out. Things should get a lot harder after that gym, though. Like usual, the Marsh Stomp is the only real threat at the rival fight, although it only took out our Nosepass before we could get the win. We just took it to really low health, fainted, then had Aaron finished off with Headbutt. No problem at all. Let's see how that flying gym goes, though. Okay, first is Swablu, who's of course just a one-shot with Rock Slide, and second is Tropius, so I just stayed into Rock Slide more. We hit pretty hard, got a flinch, then finished it off. That's the kind of luck we need. Next is Pelipper, so we just Rock Slide. It protects on the first turn, but on the second, its Protect failed, so we just crit it for a one-shot. Altaria's next, and its Earthquake hurts a lot, so we miss our first Rock Slide, but then she starts Dragon Dance for some reason, so we get a hit in. It hits another Earthquake to take us to a Sliver, but we hit another Rock Slide to take it out. Last is Skarmory though, and one by one it just totally demolishes our team. We hardly did any damage to it at all. It's unreal how badly it went. This is rough, but Slugma's gonna evolve soon. I'm gonna grind the team up a little bit and evolve Slugma, and then I think we'll stand a chance. Okay, so I grinded for a bit to get Slugma to evolve, and after that, this fight was really not that bad. It was pretty much the exact same until Skarmory, who just went down in one flamethrower, as expected. It's crazy how tanky Skarmory is physically, but the moment we come in with a fire move, we win pretty fast. Alright, it's time for stuff to get harder. We have another Maxi fight, and it might be a problem, but then after that is the Psychic Gym. It's always brutal. We don't have anything specific to fight Psychic types with. I guess we do have Steel-type moves to fight their Rock types, but they'll have a Flamethrower to take out our Steel types, so it won't be easy. It really never is with that battle, though. We'll get a new Pokemon on our way, but I don't think that alone is going to turn the tide. I could see us having to grind, but who knows, we're fighting a lot of trainers on our way there. So I was kind of worried this might happen. The Mightyena at the start is perfectly easy to take out with Flamethrower, and in fact on this try, he runs away early. But as soon as Camerupt comes out, we're doomed. Our whole team is super weak to Earthquake. He both outspeeds most of our team and can one-shot many of them. The only one on our team who's immune to Earthquake is Solrock, but he's both pretty underleveled and not even on our party right now thanks to needing some HM Pokemon to get in here. I think we could win this in a few tries though with some luck. I just need to get Mud Slap on him early, then maybe I could do something like Yawn or Confuse Ray and hope to take him out that way. So I try a few more times, this time by using Yawn right after Flamethrower so that it hits Camerupt and he always falls asleep much faster. That lets us get 5 Mud Slaps in, and although it helps, he still hits us a lot and takes down some of our team. In fact, he gets a hit on Nosepass, so we lost most of our health as Crobat came out. We couldn't actually last long enough to take it out because of that. This is brutal. I figure if I could just use the same strategy a few times and get a little bit luckier with misses, then we could win this, but it might take quite a few tries. So I try a few more times. This time I can get all 6 Mud Slaps on Camerupt. Now, even with its accuracy ruined and us headbutting for the hopes of flinches, we still find a way to get one-shot by an Earthquake, but at least Nosepass can finish it off without getting hit. That means we easily have enough health to Rock Slide our way through Crobat, then finish off the already wounded Mightyena that switches out from the start. I don't know why that took 10 tries, but it did. With that done, we spend an eternity fishing to get our last Pokemon, Corsola. This is a really solid rock and water type Pokemon that I love, so it rocks anytime I get a chance to use it. Naturally, I teach it Surf right away so that we have a good water move. I'll try and get a few levels, and hopefully it'll help us in the upcoming Psychic Gym. Well, I kind of figured this would happen. We threw our entire team of 6 at them, and didn't make a single one of them faint. It's all because Claydol using Earthquake is so brutal. This is even with Shadow Ball dropping the defense of Claydol early. It just doesn't matter. We're too underleveled. Even our highest level Pokemon are slightly weaker than theirs. I'm gonna have to just go grind like crazy for a while to catch up. I'll try and get the whole team up to 40. That way we're roughly on par with them. I might be able to make a Shell Bell too, although I know that that alone won't save us. Really, I need Solrock to be way stronger so that we stand a chance at taking out Claydol reasonably early. Once it goes down, we'll have an easier time for sure. Alright, back with the whole team at level 40, and this took forever. It's a bit hard to recap double battle, so bear with me as I give you the overview. First, I sent in our newly evolved Cradily and our Soul Rock to focus on taking down Claydol with Giga Drain and Shadow Ball. We lucked out though in our first Shadow Ball crit, so we actually took him out on the first round, as Xatu was building up Calm Mind. Lunatone came in, so I decided to keep focusing mostly on it to take it out. Xatu built up more Calm Minds, and Lunatone did a little bit, but it only took 2 rounds before we took Lunatone out. Soul Rock fell asleep, but not for long, thankfully, although Xatu was now spamming Psychic and hitting us incredibly hard. I kept using Shadow Ball on Soul Rock for ages hoping to take it out, as Xatu kept using Psychic to quickly make our other Pokemon faint one by one. But I really should have just been using Shadow Ball on Xatu. I kept forgetting that it's physical in this game, so Calm Mind wouldn't have protected it. We ended up losing most of our team until we were down to our last 2 Pokemon before Xatu went down, and although her Soul Rock was still dangerous with Solar Beam, we won thanks to Shadow Ball and Rock Smash. That really was not easy though. Alright, we're going into the last few fights with the Elite Four. We have Archie, the Water Gym, and Wally. I figure Archie won't be so bad since Sharpedo won't be as tough as Camerupt, but the Water Gym could be pretty hard just thanks to all of his water types. Wally won't be bad though. He pretty much never is. I figure that if we have a hard time with the Water Gym though, that means that the Pokemon Champion at the end is going to be really brutal. We have Giga Drain for some water types, and if I'm really desperate then maybe I could get Thunderbolt to give to someone, but with no electric type on the team, I don't expect to be doing amazing damage with it. I think Nosepass is our only Pokemon that can learn it. I think a few of them can learn Shockwave, but only Nosepass can learn Thunderbolt. I could be wrong. Alright, well, as expected, Archie was really easy. It was basically just the Maxi fight, but without the most dangerous part of his team, so none of our Pokemon even came close to fainting. Super easy. I'm sure the Water Gym won't be so easy though. So the Water Gym starts with Love Disc, who didn't really stand a chance against a couple of Giga Drains, and second was Celio, who hit Nosepass really hard with Water Pulse. We crit to nearly one-shot it, then went down to another Water Pulse, so I had to send in Lyron to take it out, although we almost got one shot in the process. Crawdaunt is next, so we send Cradily back in to Giga Drain it down in a couple of hits, as it just used Leer, but after that was Kingdra. We sent in Corsola to use Mirror Coat to try and take it out, but it quickly caught on and used Double Team 6 times, so we could nearly never hit it. Then it just swept our team. Considering it's not even his last Pokemon, it could be a very long time before we're ready to win this one. Kingdra is faster than our whole team and one-shots nearly all of them. You know what? This is what Rare Candy's for. I'm going to slowly climb our team's levels up until we can win, since there's no new moves that I can get to help us beat Kingdra anyway. I'm going to use the PowerPoint Max I found in the Magma Base on Giga Drain though, because we are for sure going to need more than 5 uses of that move. Okay, level 45, and this is after 8 tries in a row where we either got confused within the first 2 Pokemon, or we missed our first Rock Slide. Love Disc is always really easy in terms of doing almost no damage to us. And second is Celio, who wasn't that bad as long as our Rock Slides hit. Nosepass is actually faster, so we took him out after only getting hit by 1 Water Pulse, although we lost almost half of our health from it. Crawdaunt was just a one-shot with Giga Drain, letting us finally fully heal back up. But it's Kingdra time. Right away, I sent on our now fully evolved Aggron to spam Mud Slap, as he was spamming Double Team, so you know this one could be a mess. I'll try and make this as short as it can be, because it was a very, very long fight. We used all 10 of our Mud Slaps, and thankfully 5 of them hit, so we nearly fully brought down his accuracy. We fainted eventually, but the accuracy drops are what I cared about the most anyway. Next, I sent in Nosepass to try and paralyze him, but it didn't work. We got hit eventually and fainted. Cradily is next, so I confused him, and although it eventually worked, he hardly hurt himself, so it didn't really do much. Eventually, we fainted to some Ice Beams after hitting him with Acid a few times. Then I sent in Magcargo, who instantly got one shot. After that is Solrock, who hardly did anything with Solar Beam. He used Rest, so I spammed Rock Slide to nearly make him faint. He rested again, and we hit Rock Slides till we ran out, then switched to Shadow Ball, and actually lucked out and made him faint. All that was left is his Whiscash, so I sent Corsola in to hit Surf, as he made it rain. His Earthquake crit us, though, so we fainted. I sent our wounded Solrock in, hit a Shadow Ball, and he went down. That was our last Pokemon. I can't believe how close that was. Last is the Wally fight, and it starts fine with Altaria just being a 2-shot with Rock Slide from Nosepass, and second is Roselia, who hits Meg Cargo a bit hard with Magical Leaf before going down to 1 Flamethrower. Problem is, next is Delcatty. Now, I know Delcatty normally is very easy, but we were having an awful time with it for some reason. It kept using stuff like Charms, so Aggron quickly wasn't doing much damage. So eventually, I ended up using Mudslap to lower her accuracy a little bit, then switched to Nosepass, just to miss 2 Rock Slides in a row just due to sheer awful luck. Eventually, we landed some hits though, and she went down. Magneton was next, so it hit Aggron hard with Thunderbolt before we one-shot it with Earthquake. And last was Gardevoir, who let off a Future Sight but went down quickly in a couple of Shadow Balls, giving us the win. Now that we're the Elite Four, let's take a look at our team. Well, it's a good team, but our stats really aren't awesome, and our team is really slow. I could see quite a bit of the Elite Four being brutally hard because of that. Actually, I don't think any of them are going to be easy now that I think about it. Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. First is Dark Trainer Sidney. First up is Mightyena, so I use Meg-Cargo, knowing that Intimidate would drop my attack. We took a big crunch, but either in that, it went fine. Absol was second, so I switched to Aggron since it could barely hurt us at all. It took a handful of attacks before we could hit and knock it out, but it wasn't bad. Crawdaunt is next, and we confused it right away. It hit itself. Then we finished it with Giga Drain. I probably should have used Giga Drain twice, but muscle memory made me go right to the top right spot, because that's where I used to have Giga Drain. It still worked out in the end, though. Next is Shift Tree, so I sent Meg-Cargo back in to Flamethrower it down easily, but last is Cacturn, and it took out Meg-Cargo fast, so we had to start throwing a bunch of our team members in to try and take it down. Nosepass was able to paralyze it and do great damage, but he kept holding on until we fainted. But thanks to him being paralyzed, we could just have Corsola outspeed it and one-shot it with Ice Beam. If it wasn't for paralysis, Corsola would have been one-shot for sure. Second is Ghost Trainer Phoebe. First up is Dusclops, specifically the one who likes to spam Protect. It's not too bad though, I just had to use Psychic on the first round, then spam Shadow Ball after that. We fainted to Shadow Punches eventually, but we just sent in Nosepass to finish it off. Second was another Dusclops, and this one is a huge issue because he has Earthquake. We paralyze it early, but it ends up taking down Nosepass and Corsola before we take it down. And the only reason it didn't take out Meg-Cargo was because of paralysis luck. Bayonet nearly went down to some flamethrowers, but it took us out, and I had to send an Aggron to finish it off. The second Bayonet also went down to Aggron, but we nearly fainted in the process. Last is Sableye, but not only does it quickly take out Aggron, but it spams double teams, so we keep missing our Giga Drains that we need to hit if we want it to faint. Because of that, we lose a close fight. I'm gonna bump the team up to level 50 so we're on par with them, then keep trying. We just hardly do any damage to our Earthquake Dusclops, and that's the real problem. So this took a solid 7 tries at level 50 because it's pretty much all luck. Nearly all of our team have roughly the same damage output either than Shadow Ball with Soul Rock, but it always faints fast, so really this fight is all about doing it over and over, paralyzing everything we can, and just hoping for the best. You can tell from the little bursts of speed in the footage that I made liberal use of the speed up just because I had to try so many times, and us having 6 Pokemon made every attempt take much longer. There's really no special strategy here. It was almost all just hoping for good paralysis and confusion luck, as well as hoping that their double teams wouldn't make us miss too often. Eventually, we actually had a pretty solid win, but needless to say, this took forever. Third is Ice Trainer Glacia. This was pretty much instantly a disaster though. Celio goes okay at the start, but then she sends in Walrein second, and it wipes our entire team with Surf and Sheer Cold. Like, I wasn't even close. Our low speed is keeping us from getting many hits in, so I think we'll just have to level up even more. It's okay, I kind of expected this. Like, I don't even think we're winning this run until our team is above level 70. It may be nice to have a full team, but it doesn't offset the fact that moves that are super effective against rock types are extremely common in Emerald. Level 55, a few tries later. I've been using Mirror Coat on Walrein, and it's done okay, but on this try, we get crit to nearly faint. That's awesome, because it means our Mirror Coat just one-shots her. All it's doing is doubling the damage that we take back to our opponent. Out to Meg-Cargo as Glalie comes out, and although she used a light screen, our Flamethrower was so strong that we can two-shot her anyway. We took some damage from Crunch, but it wasn't that bad. The next Glalie came out, and we just crit it for a one-shot. Last is Celio, so I switched to Nose Pass and paralyzed it right away. We took big damage from Blizzard, missed a Rock Slide, then got hit by another Blizzard to faint. Well, that was unlucky. Out to Aggron, and we hit it with an Iron Tail to nearly make her faint, as she hit a weak Blizzard, but then she used a full restore, so there goes the paralysis. We hit Strength for great damage, the hail stopped, then we just hit Strength again for the win. Fourth is Dragon Trainer Drake. First is Shelgon, and it just spams Protect, so I just had Aggron use Iron Tail a few times to take it out. It could hardly hurt us at all. Second is Kingdra, so we paralyzed it right away with Nose Pass, as it was building Dragon Dances, and I started hitting Rock Slides that really didn't do much. We also missed some because that's just our luck. Surf took us to only 1 health, and then he body slammed us to finish us off. He ended up running through most of our team before we could finally take him out with Credilli, but all we have left is Corsola, Credilli, and Meg-Cargo. I sent in Corsola as Altaria came out and hit an Ice Beam, but it didn't do as much as I was hoping for. We lucked out though and froze him solid so we could take him out on the next hit. Next is Flygon though, who really easily took out our whole team with Earthquake. Yeah, this isn't happening. I gotta get stronger. A few tries later at level 60, Shelgon is still easy, and this time against Kingdra things went about the same at the start, but thanks to better Rock Slide luck and slightly better stats, we actually took him out without losing half of our team in the process. Flygon is next, and it just one-shot Corsola, so I had to send in Credilli to tank its Earthquakes and use Giga Drain. It actually worked great, and we chipped away at it until we knocked it out, although it crit us at one point, so we took a lot more damage than we should have. Out to Meg-Cargo to Rock Slide as Altaria was just dancing around, and we ended up critting to take it out before it ever did an attack. Last is Salamence, so I sent in Meg-Cargo, and it ended up burning itself by hitting us so our yawn didn't work. We got a Rock Slide in for a bit of damage, but we still fainted fast. I sent a Nose Pass, but didn't do much before we fainted. Then it was up to Aggron to hit hard with Iron Tail. We ended up getting burned off a Flamethrower, but the burn that Salamence had finished it off before we fainted, so we finally got a win. Finally, Pokemon Champion Wallace. This took so many tries, but I really thought that it was possible. First is Wailord, and this thing does crazy damage if I let it get to low health. So to get around that, I had Credilli spam Amnesia to max out our special defense, then kept using Giga Drain until we knocked it out. That had the added side effect of making sure that we can tank the Melodic that he sends out second. We got hit by Toxic, and it takes all the rest of our uses of Giga Drain, but we just hardly managed to take him down too. Third is Tentacruel, and this is one of the biggest threats, but he actually missed Hydro Pump, and we took it out with one Earthquake. Trust me, that would have been a one-shot. Water Onix is next, so I survived a Surf with Nose Pass to hit Thunderbolt, but it didn't knock him out, so he finished us off, and we had to send in Solrock next. We lost most of our health to Surf before we hit a Rock Slide for the knockout. Next, he sent in Lucario, so I switched to Corsola to use Mirror Coat, but his Giga Drain just one-shot us. That's bad, I really should have seen that coming. Out to Aggron, and we dropped from full health to only 6 health off a Surf, but then we crit an Iron Tail to nearly take him out. I thought he was going to finish us when he switched to Whiscash for some reason, so we crit it with an Iron Tail as well. We were faster, so I just hit an Earthquake to finish it off. What a weird switch. As he switched Lucario back in, I switched to Meg-Cargo to Yawn, knowing that he was definitely going to use a full restore. On the next turn, I switched to Credilli and let him finish him off, so that we could switch back to Meg-Cargo as he fell asleep. 2 Flamethrowers hit really hard, but he fell into a full restore range, so I knew he was just going to heal again, so I used Yawn, then switched to Solrock so he could finish that off too, letting him fall asleep again. Not wanting to repeat the exact same mistake, I hit a Flamethrower, then a Rock Slide so he was healthy enough to not use a full restore again, then one last Flamethrower to win the fight. If he woke up early, we would have absolutely lost. With that victory, we get into the Hall of Fame and win the run, but you know it's not over yet. Gen 3 has a post-game fight with Stephen Stone. Now I get the feeling that I'm going to need to be a crazy high level before we can win this one, but let's just start out at level 70 and we'll work our way up. It'll still be quite a bit lower than them. It's also worth pointing out that we need an HM Pokemon to climb the waterfall to get to this fight, so I can't actually bring my full team in. I decided to leave Corsola behind because it's probably going to be the least useful member of the team in the upcoming fight. Wish me luck. Alright, so first is Skarmory, who opens by using spikes, so we're gonna get hurt on every single switch. We drop him to a sliver off a flamethrower, he full restores, we drop him to red again, he misses a steel wing, then we take him out. Hey, that's not a bad start. Spike sucks, but it's better than Toxic. Next is Armaldo, so I have nose pass, tank a water pulse, and hit a rock slide for a lot less damage than I was hoping. He hit a second one, but then he took us out with an ancient power, so I had to send in Aggron to finish it off with an earthquake. Next is Claydol, so I sent in Solrock to use Shadow Ball. He both got a reflect and a light screen in, but he only hurt us a bit before we took him out. Credillia is next, so I sent in Aggron to hit Iron Tail. We actually crit it for a one-shot. I think it'd be fine even if we didn't one-shot it, but I'm not complaining. Next is his Aggron, so we sent in our own Credillia. He's just charging a Solar Beam, so we confuse him and start using Giga Drain as the reflect and light screens start to fade. Pretty quickly though, he switches to Metagross, so we ended up hitting it with a Giga Drain to do almost nothing. He missed a Meteor Mash while we confused him, so I hit another Giga Drain as he hit himself. It was doing almost nothing though, so I took the risk and I switched to Magcargo. Thankfully, he hit himself again 2 more times in a row, so we got our flamethrower in and took him out. We crit, but I really don't think that needed to crit. I'm just really happy that we got that hit in, because he for sure could have one-shot Magcargo with Earthquake. Last is his Aggron again, so I just sent Credillia back in to keep confusing him and using Giga Drain. It took all of our power points, but we took him out with no problem. That wasn't a first try, but it's only because I got crit with a Steel Wing instantly on the first try and didn't bother committing to that attempt. This went really great. Well, that's about what I expected, I guess until the end. It was hard, and some of the grinding was really slow, but it was still really fun. I really hope you guys like that run. The next week's challenge should be up next week on Saturday, like usual, with Pokemon White 2 with only 1 Paris. That one is gonna be ridiculously brutal. I mean, there's no way I win, right? As always, I'm looking at your suggestions in the comments in the challenge request section of my Discord channel and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Outro time? Okay. Fun little thing here. Partway through this video, I messed a little bit with the settings on my preamp. I have a DBX 286S? I think that's what it's called off the top of my head. Sorry, audio equipment always has the worst names ever, the most jumbled nonsense names you've ever heard. I messed with my settings on it just a little bit, partway through this recording. In my testing, it seems pretty good. I like it. It's not to make it like sound better or anything. Really, it was just messing with the gain a little bit, messing with the compressor a little bit to try and get just slightly better audio out of it so that I can mess around with it more in audio editing after. It's all a thing of just trying to keep my audio floor low, likely below -60 decibels, while also getting a good amount of actual gain out of it, because my mic tends to be quite quiet. I am recording right now on a Shure SM7B, which is a very quiet microphone in general. But I messed around with those settings just a little bit, and I think in testing it might be just a hair better. But what I'm more interested in, because you're not hearing just the clean raw audio, you hear it after a little bit of post-processing and stuff. Can you tell when in the video I switched things over? What was the most recent thing that happened when I changed the audio settings? Can you tell? Let me know in the comment section. I'm actually really curious, because to make it even harder, I recorded a certain amount of the pages of the script on one day, then I recorded some of it today, which is the next day, and then after recording a couple pages of that is when I actually switched my audio settings. So it will sound a little different when you're recording from one day to another, but then there's the difference of when I actually change some audio settings. I'm curious to see if it'll be noticeable or not. I don't even know yet because, you're obviously hearing my voice before I have edited the video to listen back to it. So for all I know, I may have messed something up and everything sounds horrible and it's very, very obvious when I changed it, but I don't think that'll be the case. We'll see in a moment, though, when I get to editing this video. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. Until next time, have a nice day.